Hi, crafting friends. Welcome to Angela Shows You. So, today I thought that we would just take a few minutes and talk a little bit about some of the Cricut basics. Um, I know there's been a lot of questions out there from people who have wondered, what's what? What do I use? What are the different Cricut cutting mats? What are the different materials? So let's just take, 10 minutes or so and just kind of talk about the real basics. What are you looking for when you first got your Cricut? What are you looking for? What do you want to do? What supplies are the essentials when you're going shopping? Because that's the fun part, isn't it? So, what you need to know about your Cricut is if you're getting either the Explore Air 2, if you're getting the the Cricut Maker, or like I have the Cricut Maker 3, which just has it's the latest one, so it has a little bit more options as far as what it can do, what it can cut, and it one of the features of it is that you don't need a mat to cut your materials on. However, I still use my cutting mats. I have some of the smart material that doesn't require the mat, but I just haven't used it yet. But so, all that being said, there's 4 mats that are available for you, and so depending on the project that you're going to do is really going to depend on the mat that you're going to want to use. So the green mat is the standard mat, and that's really the mat that pretty much I think is, kind of everybody's go-to. The green mat you're going to use for regular vinyl, you're going to use it for heat transfer vinyl, and you're going to use it if you're using the Cricut infusible ink transfer sheets. If you're using your Cricut to make paper projects, whether that be shadow boxes, if you're going to make greeting cards, if you're going to make those, I've seen like those cute little purses, if you're making gift boxes, if you're using stuff like that, you're going to want to use the blue mat. The blue mat is the light grip mat, and the light grip mat is it's not as sticky, so it's going to be better for cardstock. So that's the blue mat that you're going to use for cardstock. Unless if you're using a glitter cardstock, you can either use the blue light grip mat, or you can use the green standard grip mat for glitter cardstock, because that tends to be thicker. If you're going to be cutting fabric, then you're going to want the pink mat. Um, that would be unbonded fabric. Unbonded fabric simply is that it doesn't have any sort of adhesive on the back of it. A bonded fabric is going to be something like um, interfacing, particularly like the iron-on interfacing, because that has glue on it that activates when it's heated. So you would take your material and your interfacing and you would iron that on, and the heat from the iron activates the glue, and that adheres the interfacing onto the fabric. So as long as you're using, like a cotton or some unbonded fabric, I think you can probably use a corduroy. I don't know about a satin material. I think most people that I've seen projects, they tend to use cotton, like a quilter's cotton, because they're cutting like quilting squares and stuff like that. So that's what the pink mat is going to be for. And then there's the purple mat, and the purple mat is a stronger mat, and that you're going to use for you can use glitter cardstock on the the purple stronger mat, excuse me, chipboard, leather, if you're using poster board, if you are using balsa wood, all those kinds of things is what you're going to use the purple strong grip mat for. I know you're gonna see, you're probably still, other tutorials that if you're doing something with either if you're doing magnets, or if you're cutting balsa wood, or if you're using a leather, a lot of people will additionally use masking tape, and they'll tape down the item in addition to using that purple strong grip mat. Um, that is really going to, I think, to be dependent on your personal comfort level, and also the stickiness of the mat. If you're using a brand new mat for the first time, you may not need to use masking tape to tack down more, like your balsa wood, or your chipboard. But if you've used the mat multiple times and maybe it's losing a little bit of the stickiness, then you might want to consider going ahead and taping it down. If you're etching, some people buy acrylic. A lot of crafts that I've seen that are super cute is people will go to the dollar store and they'll buy the night lights, and they etch onto the night lights, and they'll etch, super cute little things like dinosaurs, or initials or whatever, because they're putting them in a child's room. So that would be a time where you would definitely want to go ahead and tape down the acrylic piece, so that it doesn't move while your Cricut is doing the etching that it's going to be doing. Because I think generally when you're etching something, the Cricut is going to go over, like it etches and then it goes back through what's called a second pass. So it it starts the etch process all over again. And it does that like several, I think it does it several times. So that is the mats. And then you've got just kind of your basic materials. You've got your HTV, heat transfer vinyl. You've got your regular permanent vinyl. You've got temporary vinyl, and you have your infusible ink transfer sheets. HTV, you're going to use if you're doing something on clothing or pillowcases or wood. You can use HTV, you can press wood. So a lot of people, you see those round, like the wood welcome signs. You can either use a permanent vinyl on those, or you can use HTV, and you can press that right onto the wood. That I've seen both ways. I've done it both ways. I actually kind of prefer to do the HTV. I just feel like it sticks better, especially if you're going to be putting it outside, like not in between your screen door, where it kind of has that little protection from the elements. Might be a good opportunity to use the HTV. If you're going to use temporary vinyl, you would use a temporary removable vinyl. It's what it's called at the stores. Removable vinyl is if you're, say you're, you're labeling kitchen canisters, that might be a good opportunity to use a removable vinyl. Decals. Now I've heard some people say that they put decals on their car or on their windows of their car, and they use temporary vinyl, and they have a difficult time getting it off, and other people say that it peels right off. So I mean, it may depend on where you live. Is it super duper hot? Is it the is it just like really cooking right into your car? Or maybe a little bit more moderate of a temperature, and it's only been a couple weeks, and it might peel right off. I personally used temporary vinyl on my screen door at Christmas time last year, and I really had a hard time getting it off. That stuff was stuck on. Now, I don't know if it's because it was very cold. I live in New York State, and so it gets cold. So I don't know if it got really cold, but I had a really hard time getting the temporary vinyl off of my screen door. I really had to get out there, with a knife and scrape it, and it was a challenge. Uh, so just kind of things you're gonna want to play with temporary vinyl. I would definitely recommend doing a little bit of research. Um, you know, uh, in addition, just kind of read up on it and see what you're gonna want to do. But just kind of keep in mind that permanent vinyl is permanent. Um, I have water bottles that I have put permanent vinyl on, and I don't put them in the dishwasher, but they wash, they hold up amazingly well. I've done, I did a like a Yeti coffee cup for my dad, and I used permanent vinyl on his, and as far as I know, um, it's held up just fine. I don't know. He does not have a dishwasher. Never mind. I was going to say I'm not sure if he put it in the dishwasher, but like mid sentence, I realized that he doesn't have a dishwasher, so he hand washes his. But they've held up just fine. I don't know that I would necessarily use a removable vinyl on a water bottle that you planned on washing, unless you didn't care much, because it might come off after a couple washes. Or, if you're using like a Yeti cup where you're putting coffee in, I don't know. I've never used a temporary vinyl on a cup that I've put something hot, hot liquid in. So I don't know if the heat would cause the temporary vinyl to peel off. So if I'm doing any kind of, a cup that is going to get I did do it on a Yeti, a cold one, and I used a glitter vinyl, and I used a permanent one, and again, that's held up. I mean, I put the Yeti thing right in the refrigerator, just to keep it cold before I put my can in it, and it's held up completely fine for a year. Um, Washing it. I've done my full name on a water bottle, and I did that over 2 years ago, and I washed that, and it's held up completely fine. So there would be permanent vinyl, on cups. However, you do want to just know that you don't want that vinyl near where it's not food safe. So I wouldn't, put it on the rim of a cup. I make sure when I'm putting it on a coffee cup or something that it's down far enough so that your lips aren't touching it, because vinyl is not, it's not food safe. It's not something that you want to go, having your lips on. But those are kind of the basics, in between mats and the different kinds of materials that you have to work with. And we will be back again in another video, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about like the infusible ink transfer sheets, and how how to use them, because there's also often questions about which way do things like that go on mats. So we'll do another video really soon, and we'll talk about how you use those items on the mats. So thank you for watching. I hope that this was helpful to you, and please go ahead and give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel Angela Shows You, because we are going to just dig right into all things crafting. So thank you very much. Have a great day.